Hi everyone, I'm Rishika, and I was in the batch 2018 till 2020. And I'm quite proud to be the first batches of ASL, like the pioneer batches. And it's completely Dr. Manoj Kumar, Dr. Parul Mishra. They are the actual people who have made my foundations for my academic career. So really thanks to all of these people. I will be talking about how you guys can apply to the grad schools in the US if you are planning to, if you're planning to do for the master's or PhD in the US or abroad anywhere. But since I'm in the US, I'm more through with the US procedures. Preparing for PhD in the US as an international student, it does require a careful planning and attention to like various aspects of the applications and the academic journeys.
Rishika,
So I
Rishika,
have, yes, sir.
Rishika, actually, we got disconnected. So
Oh,
just
okay.
we welcome, just give me some seconds. I
Yeah.
welcome Rishika Sheetal Singh, who has been a bright student of Amity School of Languages. She pursued her PG program from US University, and now she is pursuing her PhD. So it's a very good opportunity for us because she is going to talk about the career opportunities in abroad. And so with these words, I welcome Rishika, and she'll talk about more on the topic. Thank you,
Thank you
Rishika.
so
Welcome
much,
to the.
sir. Thank you. And once you were gone, I was giving thanks to you because you were the pioneer batch, and you guys are people who have made our foundation, the academic career. So thanks to you, Dr. Parul, and everyone from the ASL. So as I was telling you guys that the PhD does require a lot of minor attentions which we have to give while doing the applications. I have made like a very comprehensive points for you guys to jot down, and then later you can have I can give you time to ask me any questions. So first thing is your research field. So it's like your field of interest. So you have to identify your area of interest within your field and conduct a thorough research to understand the current trends or the recent publications and how the key researches are going on in other universities or your other co-academic people. Then again, another thing which is really important in the grad schools, in specifically in the US, is you have to choose your potential advisor. So it doesn't matter if it's an Ivy League, it doesn't matter if it's a public university or a private university, specifically in the US, because what matters is your department and your potential advisor whom you're going to choose and commit to for 5 years of time. So first thing is identify potential PhD advisor whose research aligns with your interest, which is really important. If it doesn't align with your research interest, they're going to directly reject your application. And the second thing is review their publications and thoroughly read their work before reaching out to them with your ideas. So even before filling the applications, the first step is to contact the professors whom you are interested in working for rest of your 5 years. Third is you have to review the academic requirements of the school specifically, because every school has different kind of requirements. So you have to very well understand the requirements for PhD programs, which includes academic qualifications, standardized tests like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS. You have to talk to your supervisors or the PIs from your bachelor's or your master's to give you a very strong letter of recommendations. You do have to work on the statement of purpose, which is one of the most important things when it comes to applications, because the first impression is your statement of purpose. and your detailed research proposal. So you don't have to give a complete manuscript of your thesis or your dissertation, but they require you to at least have 6 to 7 pages of your proposal, just in order to make them clear that what you are looking for in the coming years in terms of research. But another thing is really the fourth point, which I've made, is like prepare for the academic credentials, because academic credentials play a quite important role. They are one of the check boxes which we have to tick. So it's important to make sure that your undergraduate or your master's transcripts are in order, and you did consider taking some additional courseworks or relevant certifications if your academic background is not so strong. So you can do either internships in some nonprofit organizations, or you can join MUNs or do some extra co-curricular if your GPA is not up to the point required by the school in the US. Letter of recommendations should be like very secure, strong letter of recommendations from the professors, researchers, or your professionals. So if you have worked in the past in some other company, they can also give you a letter of recommendation, but it is required to have at least 2 letter of recommendations from a PhD holder professors, and 1 from any professional person. Another thing is research proposal. So what I told you, it should be like really concise research proposal. You can even jot down some outlines or points and elaborate them in 2 to 3 sentences, because they don't have time. There are at least 2,000 to 3,000 applications coming per intake. So they just skim through it, and if they find out you to be quite potential, then they move forward with your applications. As soon as you fill the applications, you should contact your advisor and talk to them about your funding, because securing funding is really important, because you cannot pay tuition for 5 years if you're committing to 5 years. So side by side, when you are filling the applications, you can apply for scholarships or research grants or anything from your home country. Some of the research grants are given by the universities, so you can go to their department site or even the university's website, and they have certain grants. It is difficult to get the grants, but why not? Like, it doesn't, have any, we can do that if we have time. So just try and fill all the research grants applications. Before, even if you apply to the university, before that, just go to the department's website and see if they have funding and they are committing to fund you for at least 3 years of your PhD. Because none of the departments commit for 5 years, as it is not in their law to commit, but it is highly likely that you will be funded for 5 years or 7 years, or how much you're taking. After filling the applications, there is a very thorough interview if they find you quite potential. They find you potential candidate, and that is one thing which is really important, because half of the people do not clear the interviews, and it can be different sets of interviews. So there may be 3 levels of interviews: one with your PI, your prospective PI who's gonna be, another can be like a panel interview, third can be just you and the HOD or the chair of the department. So that is one thing where you have to be really thorough with the techniques of the research methods or research designs and stuff like that. So this is like the later step, but I would consider preparing once I fill the applications as soon as possible. And once you get the funding, your health insurance, especially in PhD, not in masters, you have to pay your health insurances by yourself. But in PhD, your health insurance, your dental insurance, everything is covered. So if you get selected in PhD, it is usually the state is paying almost $60,000 for 2 semesters, including your tuition fee, your insurances, your other academic requirements. Even if you go for conferences or stuff, they would be paying for your accommodation and your traveling. But they would not be paying for your living. So you have to figure out your accommodations. But anyway, you get enough of stipend to cover your accommodations and your groceries and stuff like that. So it should not be a problem in that way. So that's it. And then after that, there comes like the visa stuff. And you once you get in, you have to culturally adapt to the system, because when I came from India, their academic system is quite difficult and different from India. So I would suggest you to guys learn all the languages before you come, like R, SPSS, because if you're trying to get into a qualitative research area, then that would be one thing which you would be requiring throughout your academic career. So that is one thing. Focus on your publications and present research. So ask your, if you still have time, like if you are planning to apply next fall or after like 2025 or something, then you have time to talk to your PIs, current PIs, to help you publish certain papers or at least some chapters in the books. That's what me and Dr. Manoj did for my publications. So we did publish one chapter in the book, and it was really, it was an advantage on my CV. So I would definitely ask you guys to do that. And while doing your PhD, you should consider planning your future. So in the US, it's quite diverse. Doing PhD does not only mean that you're gonna be a professor. You can go into market, you can go into other industries and work as a researcher there, or there are certain research companies here which are like really booming. So you can work there or be a lab manager, anything that interests you. So that's it, I think. But I would suggest you to remember that PhD journey can be like really demanding, and but at the same time can be immensely rewarding. So doing an effective preparation and a strong commitment to your research goals will definitely contribute to your success as an international student, a PhD student in the US. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to put forth. Thank you.
Very good, Rishika. And now questions we'll be asking. So yes, Kushi, will start with you. You can unmute yourself and start asking. Yes,
Hi,
Kushi.
Yep.
Hi Rishika Didi, how are you?
I'm perfectly fine. How are you?
So I wanted to know how it was like for you to adjust in the new country.
Getting adapted to it was a big cultural shock when I came in like 2021. You do have to adapt a lot to the new country, I would say. But I did not feel that much of a pressure to adapt to the situations here, because I don't know if you are you a day scholar or staying on campus in Amity?
I am a day scholar.
Oh, okay. So if you're directly coming from home, that would be a little bit of a cultural shock here. But the main shock you get is the academic shock, which is really too much. So you talk to your supervisors as much as you can. Like here, people are like our professors. You just get into their office, talk to them. If you have any problems, just discuss. There are a lot of counselors. who would really are looking forward to meet you, talk to you. It's a quite friendly environment. It's just that you have to be quite strong in leaving your home, because it's hard to, sometimes like you don't have any support most of the times. So I would suggest you to talk to people as much as you can and put forth your feelings, so that they are there to help you.
Thank you.
All right, Rishika. So before you have more questions, let me ask you if any students comes to US for maybe higher studies for admission in PG programs, right? So how difficult it is going to be? Means they apply, like I've seen some students applying for the PG program in 1 or 2 universities. Afterwards, when they don't get any reply, then they leave that and they take admission in Indian universities. So what do you have to say for them?
Sir, the main problem which we are facing in the US is funding, because the market is really, really down all over the world. So if you are committing to post-graduation or doctorate programs, it's their responsibility to at least give you, at least for masters, it's their responsibility to at least give you 80% of the funding. And for PhD, it should be fully funded. If it's not fully funded, the university would reject your application because they don't have fundings. Like recently, I got into a new program, I told you, and it's just me who got into the program, because it's like, even if they have 3 seats, they cannot fill it because of extreme competitive fundings. But I would suggest, do not get disheartened in filling at least, you have to fill at least 15 to 16 university applications. And then there is like a very meager chance that you can get at least into 2. Because when I was filling my PhD applications, I filled in 15 universities and I got into 3 universities. And it's good that if you get into like 2 universities, because you have more time to think about which is better, where the living expenses are less, or which state is better for your own academic career. So it's like, not to get disheartened. It's a long journey, it's a difficult journey, but as I told you, it's a quite rewarding journey. So at least focus on 15 to 16 universities. And as I told you guys, it's not the university name that matters here. It's not the Ivy Leagues which matters here. It's your professor, your PI, your lab, and your department which matters. Every university has, for example, ASL. Here, some of the universities have very strong ASL department, whereas universities like Penn State would have a very, it's not as strong as, I would say, some public universities department. So I would suggest you to make a list where there are 3 really, really competitive universities, 5 some mediocre universities, and 4 which are very likely that you would get in. So you can divide your list in that way. So in that way, you would have more higher chances in getting into the PhD program or master's program. Yeah.
Okay. So any other question? All right. So one last question, because they may not ask you right now. Can they get jobs while pursuing their PG or PhD program?
Definitely, but the thing is, so like I'm on F1 visa, so different visa status have different kind of requirements. So for F1 students, you can have a job on campus, but you cannot work off campus. So you can do 20 hours per week in campus. You can get a graduate assistantships or teaching assistantships. There are people who do not want to do assistantships, so they go into Starbucks or Dunkin' or like on-campus food catering services, or other. There are different departments which are working, like equality and diversity departments and stuff. So whatever interests you, you can apply there for a job, and they pay really nice. I mean, when I was doing my master's back in the US here, I used to get like $1,000 per month, which is enough for a student. So it's fine. Like you would sustain. It's just that you have to, once you fill the application, start looking for the jobs as soon as possible, because it depends from area to area. If you are in the East Coast, it gets more competitive in order to get on campus jobs. Whereas if you are in Midwest, like Chicago or Iowa, you would be easily getting the jobs on campus. And like you cannot do off campus jobs, so it's better you look for the on campus jobs. Also, if you guys have any questions later, feel free to take my contact from Dr. Manoj Kumar and feel free to reach out. Yeah.
All right, Rishika. I'll ask you to wait for some time. In the meantime, I'll ask Kathy, and if any question comes, I know that you may be getting late for your university since it's morning, right?
No, it's my off today, so I'm good.
All right. So please remain with us for 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. So now I would welcome Kathy. Kathy has been a bright student of BA French, and Kathy is pursuing her PG program from Doon University. So Kathy, welcome to the board. And I'll request you to speak about the topic which is given to you. Yes, Kathy.
Thank you so much, sir. It's so good to see you again after a long time. And thank you for having me here. It's like always good to see people from Amity because it's like been the base. And so I've been a language student associated with French language for last 5 years. And I'll say Amity has been the first step or maybe the fuel for my flight in the world of languages, especially French language. Talking about multilingualism, it is a natural phenomenon wherein, it boosts or maybe reciprocates to the cognitive flexibility. In simpler words, we can say multiple language learning, helps you out with developing or increasing your creative and academic abilities. Also, improving your social skills and reducing the social tension, making you more socially tolerant. So it's like I'll be talking about career aspects in the language of, in the French language. In different languages, it's like it's a vast ocean. The language you choose, you get to have a career according to your choices, because I think language is something you learn with passion and love, and not just with an opinion of earning money. So maybe what's better than making your passion your career? Languages are one of them. So if you like cultural things, you like something about a language or the place associated to the language, you can always have a very bright career, because it's a very demanding sector nowadays. We live in a globally competitive world wherein languages are the base of communication. It opens a new perspective, a new perception, and everything good. And to be precise, there are a lot of segments wherein you can work, maybe translation, interpretation. It is said that AI has been a very big competition for man, but to be very honest, we need, in the language segment, we need people to judge the AI. We need the competence to evaluate the perfection level of AI. So it is not that AI has eaten the jobs up. It is still a very, very big loophole wherein we need expertise in languages. So translation and interpretation can be a very good career aspect if you are into interculture exchange or interlanguage exchange. Then apart from this, academia is a very big career. Our professors are a very good example of it. Like how to guide people into their big careers is one of the best careers to you choose. Also, apart from this, linguistics and something like research work on different fields can make you stand out from the crowd, because learning a language already makes you stand out from all those people who are being in the rat race. So tour guiding, the professional ones are a very big field wherein, because people from elite classes need proper tour guidance. So you need to have a proper apprehension of the language and the culture and the presence of cultural aspects of different areas, because French is not just related to France, but a lot of Francophone countries. Same is with other languages. Languages are associated with their culture. So you need to have a good hold of the culture along with the language in order to have a good career. I'll be talking about some scholarships, Erasmus, Charpak. There are a lot of scholarships for European languages, and you can always, go to the websites of the French Embassy, Alliance Française, IFI. Even we have an IFI institute in Jaipur. I guess we have very good ties with IFI Jaipur along with the department. And an experience about ASL department, it's been a great 3 years. Yeah, there was COVID times, but we were still online connected. The professors, they're always a very, very big support. And yeah, they've motivated me to go, inside the whole big world of languages. I'm exploring the French language now. And I want to pursue my PhD in French language. I'm planning for a research work. Yeah, so that's quite about me. If there are any questions, you can, ask.
All right, Kathy, thank you very much. So now in our department, we have two professors, Dr. Shreya and Dr. Nimisha. So first they'll welcome you and afterwards we'll move towards question and answer session. Over to you. Yes. Yeah, here.
Yeah, okay.
In French.
Bonjour Cathy, ça va?
Bonjour, oui, ça va bien, et vous?
Oui, je vais bien, merci. Et bienvenue pour notre forum pour aujourd'hui. And yes, so today we have the new joinees also who are attending the session, attending your session especially. So could you please throw some light on how French or, multilingualism can help shaping their career? So could you please throw some light on it?
So basically, French is a language which is not only associated with France, but a lot of Francophone countries. So it's like if you decide to have or build a career in the French language, you have a lot of countries you can rely upon. There are countries in Africa, there are countries in Europe, there are a lot of places where, French can be a good help for the career thing. Also about France and French language, I think personally French is considered the, beautiful language, romantic language, but to be very honest, it flows like music when you speak of French language. And also France is a culturally very rich place. So it's not just about the language, but along with language, we have cultural courses here in Amity, which also, throw some light on what is your interest about the language and culture. So you can, decide in these 3 years in which sector you want to go.
Bonjour, bienvenue. Je m'appelle Nimisha, comment ça va?
Oui, ça va bien, et vous?
Moi aussi, je vais bien. There are like BA first year students, so today only they were asking what are the opportunities in India after doing BA? What are the sectors we can apply for, or is it necessary to do MA or PhD? What are the things we can do after learning French? So please, if you can.
Okay. So basically language, as I said while speaking, it's more about passion and love for the language. So it's not like you have to have a master's degree or a PhD, in your hand to build a good career. Even after bachelor's, you have a lot of opportunities you can do freelance French training, you can maybe join some school, teach French there. But, master's studies and PhD, they give you bigger opportunities because as I said, technology is intervening with the language. So to be competent enough for the market, we have to fight. And for that position, we have to learn the language. We have to be with the language. So masters and PhD, maybe they are more precise and, informative in terms of what sector you want to work in. Like maybe you can have your master's in translation, maybe in linguistics, maybe in literature, the field that interests you. So it opens, the particular stream wherein you are interested in working at.
Let's see. What's the response?
All right, Kathy, one more question I have means before French students come and ask you questions, I suppose you visited France during your BA program, right?
Yeah.
Did you visit or you could not visit because
No,
of
due to COVID, we had it in the online format, but yeah, it was a great experience too.
yeah. So what are the opportunities for our BA French students? How could they visit France? And what about BA English students also? If you remember, Rosmira Khatun was during your time and she also applied for that. So please let us know so that BA English and French students can also understand about
Sure,
it.
sure.
Thank
Yeah. So unluckily, I had to do the course online. We have a lot of tie-ups with foreign universities. Sciences Po Bordeaux being one of the biggest allies of Amity University or Amity School of Languages. We have an exchange program of about 16 credits there. And I wanted to go to France for this. I was selected. There were some tests taken by the department and then they approved of us. So I was lucky enough to get selected, but I feel really bad because of COVID. I couldn't visit France. But still, the online mode, it was, very interactive. I got to meet a lot of people, not just francophone from the francophone countries, but people from all around the globe who are trying to learn a language. So I met people from China, from Japan, Asian countries, from also European countries, from African countries. We had, groups wherein we used to discuss the cultural aspects, the different cultural aspects. And also it was really fun working with different people. And of course, it's a very, very enthralling experience to go to a foreign country if you're learning the language of that country. So, even BA English people can apply for this because it's about the competency of the French language. You can always choose to have a course in English language in the university too. There is a facility for that. So maybe if you work on French as a language and you clear through the test, you can always, hope to get to France for this scholarship, or maybe, you don't have to pay anything extra apart from your, flight expenses or living expenses. So it's like spending a lot of time in France, that too in a renowned institution like Sciences Po Bordeaux without paying an extra penny. It's like, who would not want it?
Thank you, Kati. So Ria has a question. Ria, can you be here, please, quickly? Yes, Ria is coming. Ria is a student of BA French third semester. Yes, Ria, please.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Ça va et vous?
Oui, je vais bien, merci.
So my question is, what are the career options which are related to translation and interpretation?
Okay.
Because I
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I have started translating few stories, so it gives me a lot of pleasure. So I'm thinking ki I should make my career in this field.
Okay, that's very interesting because I am also very much interested into translation. So first of all, translation and interpretation are two different things. Translation being more of a written thing, and interpretation is more of an oral thing. So interpretation has its job in the government sectors wherein we have bicultural or bilingual meetings along with France or francophone countries. You have to interpret, which means you have to translate on the spot and tell people what you've heard from the French person, and then you have to again translate what our person wants to say in French. That's interpretation. Okay, so there are government exams that you can clear, or maybe you can join some companies wherein they hire for interpreters because of international collaborations in the corporate sector. There is one field. About translation is more of a technical thing wherein you have to be very precise about what translation you want to continue with. because it has a lot of challenges. Literary translation, which means translation of stories like you're doing, there is a lot of debate about how should we stay fidel, which means loyal to the which text we should stay fidel or loyal to, the source language or the target language. So that's a very big debate. Also, apart from this, we have technical documentation. Like there are a lot of people who want to shift to those francophone countries and they need their legal documents translated to French. So that is also a technical translation aspect that you can look for.
Yeah.
Okay, merci.
Merci.
All right. Do we have more questions from anyone? Okay, okay. So Madam Shreya wants to ask a question.
Yes.
Kathy, can you hear me?
Sorry, you're not properly audible.
Okay, now.
Now. it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Priyanshu?
could you please guide your juniors regarding the scholarships they can, they can always go for, because we know after finishing the masters they can go for assistant only English teaching assistant in France. That also they can do. This is also a very lucrative and good career opportunity. But apart from that, if you think that there are any scholarship, or they can go for any other thing in France, in French universities. So if they have any sort of thing, could you please guide them regarding that?
Sure. So assistant de la langue is something that Amity University introduced to me. I was completely unaware of this. And the professors there, Deepa ma'am, of course, introduced me about this. Also, apart from this, there is a very good scholarship called Erasmus, wherein you have the opportunity to pursue masters in a field of your interest in the French language. So for that, what you need to do is you have to stay motivated throughout your journey of the bachelor's, build your competence of the French language, written, oral, understanding, and listening. Because surviving in France without knowing the French language is quite difficult, because your course is going to be in the French. The language of instruction is going to be French. So you need to be very clear with understanding and listening of French language, also speaking, because masters in itself is a difficult task. So you have to, be dedicated enough to learn something first. And second is the language, because the language of instruction is French. You need to really build your competencies about French language to be there as a student. Also, there are almost 193 courses in French language for masters. So, it's like a wide variety that you can choose from. So Erasmus is one of major scholarships that European students are, the students from all around the world are given by the Europe.
Okay, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so do we have more questions from Kathy? All right, Risika, are you there? Risika? All right. So Risika, we have a question for you. Yes. Our BA English student has a question for you. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
My name is Kuldeep and I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. How can a person who is good in creative writing and also good in express his feeling by writing shape his career in India or outside the India?
I didn't. Oh, creative writing. Creative. I would say it's creative writing. I don't know exactly how the career would be in the US, but if you are trying to get into a publication industry or maybe like the editorial positions, that would be a better option for you. Because I have never come across anyone who's doing creative writing majors here. So I'm not sure that much, but I would say that do your research, and if you come across, do let me know as well. Yeah,
Okay.
but I would definitely research on this
Thank
and let
Thank you.
Dr. Manoj know. Yeah.
Okay, more questions? Last time I'm asking from English student if you have any question. Okay, so we have come to the end of this alumni session. So to Rishika and Khyati, I must thank from ASL. Deepa ma'am is missing you, but she could not come because of an urgent meeting, right? So maybe next time. And let me tell everyone, those who are aspiring to go abroad for higher studies, maybe for job purpose. I know Rishika, she tried very hard to pursue her studies. She talked about 16 or 17, but I think Rishika, I have written more than 20 reference later for you. And it's not that easy, but if you keep on trying, I'm sure that you can get through it. Okay. And she did her MA from EFLU. And afterwards, she again did her MA from US. So that's a long journey, but whatever she achieved. And as she was talking about, after her BA, I think it was Rishika and more students, those who could publish a paper that time. She worked on folklore, that is tribal literature. And as she, had an interest and she discussed, I think, Rishika, this was the same room I'm sitting in when you told me that you want to write a paper, right? And
Yes.
I can see today, in just 5 to 6 years, she has, whatever dream she had, she is just about to achieve, or she had achieved that. So thank you, Rishika, and thank you, Khyati. I think, Khyati, we would love to see you in campus.
Sure, sir,
Okay.
someday.
All right, Rishika keeps on visiting us whenever she gets time. So if you have no question is there, so thank you very much. It was
Thank-
lovely to hear you after so many years. Thanks again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir. It was
Have a good
really
day.
nice meeting you. Bye, everyone.